Oh, what a fool I am!" "I should have known by the feel of the scars," said Ronicky. "Put out that flashlight, Jerry. We may need it after a while, and the batteries won't last forever." He sat down as he spoke, cross legged, and the last thing Jerry saw as he snapped out the light was the lean, intense face and the blazing eyes of Ronicky Doone. Decidedly this was not a fellow to trifle with. If he trembled for himself and Ronicky, he could also spare a shudder for what would happen to Frederic Fernand if Ronicky got away. In the meantime the light went out, and the darkness sat heavy beside and about them, with that faint succession of inaudible breathing sounds which are sensed rather than actually heard. "Is there anything we can do?" asked Jerry suddenly. "It's all right to sit down and argue and worry, but isn't it foolish, Ronicky?" "How come?" "I mean it in this way. Sometimes when you can't solve a problem it's easy to prove that it can't be solved by anyone. That's what I can prove now, but why waste time?" "Have we got anything special to do with our time?" asked Ronicky dryly. "Well, my proof is easy. Here we are in hard pan dirt, without any sort of tool for digging. So we sure can't tunnel out from the sides, can we?" "Looks most like we can't," said Ronicky sadly. "And the only ways that are left are at the ends." "That's right. But one end is the unfinished part of the tunnel, and if you think we can do anything to the steel door " "Hush up," said Ronicky. "Besides, there ain't any use in talking in a whisper either. No, it sure don't look like we could do much to that door. Besides, even if we could, I don't think I'd go. I'd rather take a chance against starvation than another trip to Fat Fernand's place. If I ever enter it again, son, you lay to it that he'll get me bumped off mighty pronto." Jerry Smith, after a groan, returned to his argument. "But that ties us up, Ronicky. The door won't work, and it's worse than solid rock. And we can't tunnel out from the side, without so much as a pin to help us dig. Can we?" "I think that just settles things, Ronicky. We can't get out." "Suppose we had some dynamite," said Ronicky cheerily. "Sure, but we haven't." "Suppose we find some." Jerry Smith groaned. "Are you trying to make a joke out of this? Besides, could we send off a blast of dynamite in a closed tunnel like this?" "We could try," said Ronicky. "Way I'm figuring is to show you it's bad medicine to sit down and figure out how you're beat. Even if you owe a pile of money, they's some satisfaction in sitting back and adding up the figures so that they come out about $1,000,000 on top in your dreams. Before we can get out of here we got to begin to feel powerful sure. But you take it straight, friend, Fernand ain't going to leave us in here. Nope, he's going to find a way to get us out. That's easy to figure out. But the way he'll get us out will be as dead ones, and then he can dump us, when he feels like it, in the river. Ain't that the simplest way of working it out?" The teeth of Jerry Smith came together with a snap. "Then the thing for us to do is get set and wait for them to make an attack." "No use waiting. When they attack it'll be in a way that'll give us no chance." "Then you figure the same as me. We're lost. Unless we can get out before they make the attack. In other words, Jerry, there may be something behind the dirt wall at the end of the tunnel." "Nonsense, Ronicky." "There's got to be," said Ronicky soberly, "because if there ain't, you and me are dead ones, Jerry. Come along and help me look anyway." Jerry rose obediently and flashed on his precious pocket torch, and they went down to pass the turn and come again to the ragged wall of earth which terminated the passage. Jerry held the torch and passed it close to the dirt. All was solid. There was no sign of anything wrong. The very pick marks were clearly defined. "Hold on," whispered Ronicky. "Hold on, Jerry, I seen something." He snatched the electric torch, and together they peered at the patch from which the dried earth had fallen. "Queer for deadpan to break up like that," muttered Ronicky, cutting into the surface beneath the patch with the point of his hunting knife. Instantly there was a sharp gritting of steel against steel. The shout of Ronicky was an indrawn breath. The shout of Jerry was a moan of relief. Ronicky continued his observations. The thing was very clear. They had dug the tunnel to this point and excavated the place which they had guarded with a steel door, but in order to conceal the hiding place, or whatever it might be, They cunningly worked a false wall of dirt against the face of it, using clay and a thin coating of plaster as a base. "It's a place they don't use very often, maybe," said Ronicky, "and that's why they can afford to put up this fake wall of plaster and mud after every time they want to come down here. Pretty clever to leave the little pile of dirt on the floor, just like it had been worked off by the picks, eh? But we've found 'em, Jerry, and now all we got to do is get to the door and into whatever lies beyond." "We'd better hurry then," cried Jerry. "How come?" "Take a breath." Ronicky obeyed. The air was beginning to fill with a pungent and unmistakable odor of burning wood. Chapter 20